Well, good morning, beautiful, and welcome to A Little Bit of Makeup and a Whole Lot of Jesus, where we're going to be spending about the next 45 minutes together, give or take, with a full face makeup tutorial. So some beauty on the outside and some beauty on the inside. My name is Wendy, and it has been an absolutely jam-packed last week. I don't know how your week was, but go ahead. Oh, let me get the chat turned on. Go ahead and give me a shout out in the chat and let me know how your week was and where you are coming from this morning. All right, it is going to be so fun today. So we are going to be doing, I am calling this 6B because we are going to piggyback on last week and press on and continue on with our study that we've been doing in James. So what is our theme for today, you ask? Today, the question is, how can the candy shop pink and lashes still look classy after 40? All right, so go ahead, like, subscribe, grab your palette, grab your lashes, grab your brushes, and then get on back here and let's get going. Well, maybe. Okay, here we go. A little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus. First days at 8, can't wait. All right. Yeah, it's been that kind of morning, that kind of week. So I hope yours is going well. Well, the good news is no matter how our week has been, no matter what mood we're in today, God remains the same. So what is the foundation verse for this podcast, you ask? I'm so glad you asked. Our podcast verse is Psalm 119, verse 11. I have hidden your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. Yes and yes. All right, so all of our verses for season 3 are coming from Color Me James. You can see the 3 different versions of that right there. We've got the PDF, the ebook version that you can actually color on your device, iPad, iPhone, whatever. Procreate's probably the best app for that. And then you can actually write into it with GoodNotes. If you go to the website, I've got the different apps and links to them on there. Then there's also the spiral bound version, which is my preferred version. And then we've got the traditional version, which is a perfect binding, and that's from Amazon. So whatever way works best for you, you've got options and choices. But the book of James, we're memorizing through using the Message. All right, so let's look at our song from our verse.
Storms that didn't just pass, they pushed. She held her breath when life got loud, when prayers felt heavy and answers felt far. But she didn't bow out, she stayed, held her line in the valley. Didn't need applause to be powerful, she's got prayerful courage.
Anyone who meets the testing challenge head on and manages to stick it out is mighty fortunate. For such persons loyally in love with God, the reward is life and more life.
All right, I'm going to let you continue listening to that on our Spotify playlist. So you can go ahead and grab that over there while we wait for our music to come back on. There we go. Okay, so this was our graphic image for last week. We are going to press on with this same section of scripture this week. So kind of stretching it out just a little bit. So our verse for this week that we're going to be working on is coming from James chapter 1. This is verse 13 through 15. So don't let anyone, hold on. There we go. Don't let anyone under pressure give in to evil and say, God is trying to trip me up. God is impervious to evil. Don't you love that word, impervious? Okay, God is impervious to evil and puts evil in no one's way. The temptation to give in to one's way, to give in to evil comes from us and only us. We have no one to blame but the leering, seducing flare-up of our own lust. Lust gets pregnant and has a baby, sin. And then sin grows up to adulthood and becomes a real killer. So we're going to continue on with that this week. I started a new job this past week, and so I got a little behind on a couple of things. So the song for that should come out Saturday, and then we'll be able to use all those sensories to get that really memorized. So I hope you are enjoying. Life happens sometimes, but I hope you are enjoying all these different learning modalities that are incorporated into Color Me James. There are puzzles for those of you who lean that way. There are coloring pages for the most of us who lean that way. There is the study where you allow God to speak in you, to you, through the book of James. As we study each different section of the scriptures that we are memorizing. And then we have the song from Selah Soul that is helping us with that. So that song from Selah for this week is going to come out on Saturday, and that will be on the Spotify playlist shortly thereafter. All right, so all kinds of fun things there. That is not going to function. Here we go. Let me get over here. Or not. Okay. All of the products that are used on each and every different podcast episode are on the website. If you go to the shop section, it'll have all that in the show notes. No matter what platform you're on, the show notes will have all those different products listed out. So feel free, and I encourage you to use what you have. Just kind of stay with the color theme of what we got going on today. But if you want to know specifically what product I have, maybe you want to pull it up on Amazon just to see how your product kind of compares, do that. This palette that you're looking at right now is the Candy Shop, and that is from Juvia's Place. So that's what we're going to be doing with our eyes this week. All right. So let us get that verse scrolling across the bottom of our screen. I'm going to turn the chat on. Y'all are being very quiet today. And let us go ahead and jump in. I'm going to adjust this just a little bit. There we go. Let us go ahead and jump in because I am super excited with the pinks and the Candy Shop that we are going to be playing with today. A little bit paler of a pink than normal. And we're going to add in a little bit of a bonus of a shimmery liquid shadow. So that's just going to be like a little tiny part, but it's going to be there nonetheless. And I hope you'll have fun with that as well. So let us start with priming our face. This is the Professional Primer, and this is the mattifying primer. If we can get that to focus. Maybe not. Okay, so this is from Benefit. This one, things I love about this. This is going to prep your face and help your foundation to do its job more effectively, to last better, to reduce any separation, and help to control oil. Now, even if you don't have oily skin or combo skin, still an excellent choice because it's not drying. So we're going to use here, if I can get it to come out. Looks like I'm probably going to need another one of these. There we go. We're just going to use about that much right there. We're going to work it together. Any place where you have fine lines, wrinkles, maybe you experience separation in your foundation, you are going to put that there. For me, that's going to be around the eyes for those fine lines, wrinkles, down the center of the face, and around the lips. And we are just going to let that sit there and do its job nicely. Yes, that little bit literally does the whole face. So now that we are primed, we need to conceal. So I'm using the Bye Bye Under Eye from IT Cosmetics. This is the shade 11 Light Nude. So you want this to be 1 to 2 shades lighter than your foundation. So, get over and take a look at that. And then actually, let me go ahead and see if I can do this there. There we go. Okay. We're going to just use a little ribbon of that right there. That is going to do everything you could possibly need. You may need less than that, but I seriously doubt you're going to need more than that. There we go. So this right here, I'm going to start out with it under my eye, and then I'm going to go down. Well, I'm going to borrow a little bit. We're going to go down the center of the face. Now, I have a lot of redness, so I'm using this to kind of counteract that a little bit. I could use a green concealer. Yes, that is true, but my redness isn't ostentatious enough that I need to really worry about that. So we're just going to kind of big picture, glop it in where we want it to be, and then we will blend it out in just a minute. So I've got darkness on the inside of my eye, so we're going to put that there. I got darkness under my eye. I got redness going down the center of my nose. So we're just going to do all that. I feel like I just had one of those. I was looking for my tissue. I just had one of those, where's my glasses? Only to find out it's on the top of your head moment. Okay, I'm going to be using the Juvia's Place. This is a JP 102 foundation brush. Nice flat shape to that. So we're going to use that to blend that out. This concealer does better when you give it a little bit of time to warm up to your body temperature. It just blends out nicer. So we let that set there for just a second. We're going to just extend that over onto the lid a little bit so it's the primer for our beautiful eyeshadow colors we're going to be using. And we're just going to remove all of that darkness and discoloration. Now, if you have acne scarring or maybe hyperpigmentation from anything, this will help with that. So just dab this on and then blend this out over whatever spots you have that you want to be invisible. So this is your magic eraser for your face. No white sponge needed. Well, I guess we do use brush. Okay, anyways. So we're just going to blend that out to the top of the cheek there. There you go. Now we have a nice kind of even color feel to play with. And today we're going to be using the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Foundation, well, Velvety Matte Foundation. Let's see. I am the shade 710 Maricao. This has a beautiful shade range. So get into your nearest Ulta, get that tested, get a shade match done, and see which one you like the best. And I love that they have so many different undertones as well. So I think you really like this one. So we're going to take the brush and we're just going to put, oh, that's a little bit too much. Seriously, that little bit will do like the whole face. So we're just going to kind of smear a little thing onto each part of the face, and then we're going to blend that out. And I feel, oh, there we go. I thought my microphone was being a little bit too soft. There we go. So, no one has said where they are coming from yet today. Where are we coming from? And for those of you in the Beauty and Grace Insiders, make sure you are making good use of those special little emojis that you've got there. Let me just check real quick. What do we got going on? Audio input. Nope. Okay. It's right. Just checking. We're just going to blend that foundation right up to that concealer. Then we're going to soften the edge of that right under the chin. And then we're going to get that around the lips as well. This is going to help with the wearability of our lipstick. Just going to blend that up right into the hairline. Going around the brows. Getting a little close up. Making sure I don't have any like streaky lines. Oh yeah, now it's working. Okay. Now we're all one color. Now we get to do and set what we want to. But first, speaking of set, we are going to set our foundation. And that is going to be with the Benefit Cosmetics, the Professional Power Powder. Okay. So we got just a little bit. Well, maybe not that little of a bit. Hold on. We're going to turn it upside down. You're going to tap it. That is going to put the powder into the reservoir. There you go. Nice holes on that so the powder actually makes it through. We're going to take that Juvia's Place JP 101 tapered powdered brush. We're just going to tap it in, and then I'm going to tap it off. I'm going to start out around the eyes first. We're just going to set that under eye. Kind of a tapping, blurring. There you go. Yes, I love the blurability of this one. So we're going to set it in again. Then we're going to go down the center. Under the chin. Setting all where we put the foundation around the mouth area. Going to tap it in again. Catch the cheek on the other side. Yes, I did get my hair done since last week. two compliments I always get every time when I go in and get my hair done. First one is, wow, your hair grows fast. Which, if you have short hair, it's actually a curse, not a blessing. But anyways, the first thing I get always is, wow, your hair grows fast. And the second one is, wow, you have a lot of hair. I guess that one's a good thing. I'm sure when I hit my 70s and 80s, I will be greatly appreciative of that because my hair will probably thin out to a normal person's thickness. So for me, that will be, I guess, thin. Anyways, we all have things that we really like about ourselves. So in the chat, I want you to tell me what is the favorite 2 features that God has given you about yourself that you love. Okay, I got lips and eye color. I got booty and lashes. Okay, now we're going. Oh, what is mine? My 2 favorite features, I would say, are, well, you can't tell it right now, but I would say mine would be lips and hair. I think that would be my 2 favorite features on myself. Okay, so we are going to contour now. So we're going to be starting out with our first brush, which is this one right here. It is a dual-ended foundation brush by It Cosmetics. We're going to use this end for the bronzer or the low, and then this end for the highlighter. So we're going to start out with this one here. We're going to be using the KVD Shade Light Refillable Contour Palette. A lot of words, And we're going to be on this lighter end here, and then we're going to use this darker right here, just on the very outside corner, just to give us a little extra definition. So start out with that flat side. We're going to go here. Then we're going to turn it up. We're going to go from the top of the ear in a curved shape to about the corner of the eye. We are staying above the hollow of the cheek, and then we're going to run right beside the temple. Same thing on the other side. You know, that theme song from last week. Once I play that thing, it literally runs in my head for like the rest of the day. All right, then we're going to use that flat side. We're going to work that in up into the hairline there. Give a little dimension up here. I don't want just like a whoosh line. So we're kind of going in a little bit of curvy motion there to blend that out. We're going to switch to the flat side. So we're going to use that flat side there. We're going to go from the ear to about the corner of the mouth, right under that jawline. So keep a neutral face so you're actually getting under the jawline. If you have a nice, strong jawline, you can probably avoid this step. But for those of us who don't, that's really going to help define that a little bit. So then we're going to do that same thing on the other side. That's going to help reduce the visibility of double chins as well. So same thing, stick with the flat side. We don't need quite as much on that this time. We're going to go from the corner of the eye to the tip, from the corner of the eye to the tip, and then we're going to go just under it. This is going to help to carve out that nose, bring it in, let it be a little more narrow. And then we're going to highlight down the center of that. And that will, especially when we add the highlight at the end, will just give us a little more pizzazz. It's that extra little measure. Okay, so now we're going to switch this end. We're going to go to the highlighter here. I'm just going to get that right on the side. We're going to go on the top of the cheek and then right beside that brow. Same thing on the other side. Then we're going to go right here. Okay, we have a troll. Let me get our troll here. There we go. And we're just going to add that. I'm going to go ahead and put a little right there. Now I'm going to take the tip of this. We're just going to go doop, doop. That's going to go right here on the outside. We're just going to make a little kind of an L right there. There you go. So that is our highs and lows. So now we're going to add a little bit of color back in. So I am using a MAC blush brush. I have no idea what number it is, but it's just a traditional blush brush. We're going to grab our Juvia's Place Volume 4. And for today, we are doing a pink look. So we're going to be in this bad boy right here. So we're going to tap a couple of times. And we're going to go between the bronzer and the highlighter. In between the bronzer and the highlighter. There you go. Same thing on the other side. I'm going to tap it just once. And I'm going to go up here on the top of that bronzer. I'm not even going to add anything extra to it. I'm going to put it on the tip of the nose and on the chin. Not trying to really add pink, just trying to blend it all out and together a little bit. All right. So now we got some contour. We got some shape to our face where we want it now. Okay, I think we got trees in the air this week. So the watering eyes brought to you by Wendy is from oak or something, I think. Okay, so let's take a look at our verse that we're going to be working on this week. It should be scrolling across the bottom of your screen. Let's say it together. Don't let anyone under pressure give in to evil and say, God is trying to trip me up. God is impervious to evil and puts evil in no one's way. The temptation to give in to evil comes from us and only us. We have no one to blame but the leering, seducing, flare up of our own lust. Lust gets pregnant and has a baby. Sin grows up to adulthood and becomes a real killer. And that's James 1:13-15. So let us jump in with our lips now. So we are going to be using two things. We're going to use our NYX. This is the retractable lip liner in hot pink. And then we're going to be using the matte. This is the, I think, Retro Matte, I think. Flat Out Fabulous. Sorry, there's something on the bottom of it. I can't see it. I believe this one is Flat Out Fabulous. Well, I mean, I know it's Flat Out Fabulous. It's the Retro Matte part. Okay, so there you go. Nice pink color. Going to blend in nice with the pinks that we're using from our Juvia's Place palette. So, I'm going to start out with that hot pink from NYX. It's retractable, so just pull it out a little bit. And we're going to start out in that Cupid's bow. And remember, you're going just to a little bit to the outside of the lip line, just to grab a little extra real estate. And then we're going to round that out to the outside edge on both sides. There you go. We just added just a little tiny bit of extra space. Now we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. So we're going to start out in the bottom center. Just to the outside of those lips. And now we're going to round that out to the outside corner. Now this one is about the same color as our lipstick. So we're not looking for an ombre. We're just looking for an even lipstick shade. If you struggle with your lipstick wearability, use this liner and color in your whole lips. For me, I'm just going to come and do one line to the inside edge of what I just did. That will just kind of soften any appearance of the line. You won't see it. There you go. Give a step back. Take a look at the shape. Make sure both the sides are even. All right. And like I said, this is about the same shade as the Flat Out Fabulous. So even if your lip liner was off just a little bit, you do have the ability to remedy that with the lipstick itself. So now we're going to grab our Flat Out Fabulous. There we go. I'm going to start out in the Cupid's bow. And then I'm going to fill to the outside. And then the middle. So I am actually covering over all of the liner that we just put on. That liner is just going to act as a barrier and then also just give us a nice clean outside line definition. There you go. Okay. Nice. All right, so now we've got a nice pink lip. Let us see what we are going to be doing with our eyes. So like I said, we're going to be playing with the Candy Shop palette. So let's look at where we're going to be living at today. So we're going to start out in this right here. And these don't have shade names on the boxes, or else I would tell you that. So we're going to start out here, and then we're going to use this one here. We're going to add this one to the outside corners. And then we're going to come in with this Juvia's Place. This one is called Yanga. So we're going to use this liquid shadow in the inside corner, maybe a touch in the center. We'll see how I feel when we get there. All right. So we're going to start out with an all-over eyeshadow brush, well, or a blender. This right here is a Morphe M456. We're just going to use that right there. Candy Shop palette right here. So we're just going to get that on the tip. And that's going to go on that upper brow bone right there. This is just going to give us a nice neutral kind of pinky color to blend into. So kind of a non-color color. Now, if you have a little bit darker pigment, you could try this one right here and see how that does. Maybe a blend between the two if you're kind of in the middle there. Okay, so now we just have a little something to blend into. For the main part of the, well, the whole lid, the whole rest of the lid that we have, we're going to be using a all-over shadow brush. This one is a MAC. I want to say, I honestly have no idea what number it is, but it's just a MAC shadow brush. We're going to go into this one right here, and you can get a little bit on both sides of this one. Just make sure that you don't pack it so much that you're going to end up with fallout from it. And oh, my eyes are watering in overtime today. Okay, so let's just go on the inside corner. And we're going to go all the way across. And I'm going to go all the way up. There we go. Now, I know this might look like a little bit too much pink, but remember, we're going to add other colors and blend it out and soften it here in just a little bit. So we're just going to kind of go over the edge there and give us a nice little smooth edge. Let's do the same thing on the other side. There you go. We're going all the way down to the lash line. And then we're just blending that up into that softer pink color we put on first. So now we just have a nice all over, it's not really an, I guess it'd kind of be an ombre, I don't know. But we're just doing that right there. Just two colors of pink. We're just blending all the way up. Now, let's have a little bit of fun. So I'm going to grab a Morphe. This is a M506. Just a nice blender. We're going to be in this one right here. So we're just going to get that on the tip. We're going to come to the inside corner. And just go about a quarter of the way. Let's just go ahead and do that on the other side too. So inside corner, quarter of the way. You can see it's just a little bit darker. Now we're going to do that same thing on the outside. Going about a quarter of the way as well. Okay, so you can see what we've got now. We're going to use that same brush, same color, and right up here at the top, we're going to connect those two together. And then just blend it up into that lighter color. Same thing on the other side. So you can see what we've got now. All right. Little dab of the eye. And that one's almost a little purpley, but not quite. Okay, so this is what we got so far. So we're going to take that liquid lipstick, which I have now misplaced. There it is. Okay, so we're going to take this from Juvia's Place. I am going to grab just a, you know what? Let's do that. Let's change our order, what I was thinking here. I'm going to grab a... Okay, hold on. I got a plethora of brushes here, and they're too far for me to see. Okay, well, I don't see the one I was looking for, so let's just go ahead and grab this one. So this one is going to be, this is a Real Techniques. This is a smudger number 87. So we're going to do the under of the eye, and then we'll do the accent on the inside. So I'm going to take this smudger. And we're going to almost do the same thing we did before. So we're going to use just the top edge of that. Just get it on the top edge. And in this color here, we're going to go under the eye all the way across. Same thing on the other side. We're going to keep that same brush. We're going to go into this color that we used on the outside. You're going to get it just on the tip. But this time we're going to go about halfway. So we're going to go from the outside corner about halfway. There we go. Same thing on the other side. We're going to make sure that that wraps up and around nicely. Okay, there we go. Now we are ready to add the extra I was talking about. But that is not the brush I want to do it. Here we go. So I am going to grab the Morphe, it's a MAC 194. This one I think is like closest to just like your finger. So we're going to take this Juvia's Place. What did I say this is called? Yanga. I'm going to take the brush out, and I'm just going to take the tip of this and get it right there on that. We're going to put it right here on the inside corner. Dab it back on if you need it. And we're going to meet right where our underliner shadow is. Do the same thing on the other side. Just get a little bit of that on the tip. Here we go. Now, I want to add a little bit to the center of the lid here. So I'm going to put this back in. I'm going to pull it back out. I'm going to use my middle finger. I'm just going to grab a little bit on there. That's actually a little bit much. There we go. Just a little bit. And we're just going to put it right here in the center. Let's just give that duochrome right there. See that? Nice. Okay, same thing on the other side. We're just patting that. There we go. So now we've got that duochrome on the inside corner. Here. That's usually a little daring, but I wanted a little more. Now I'm just going to clean it up. I can tap it. Let's grab that MAC brush that we were using. There we go. And let's just clean that up a little. Nice. Okay. So we're going to go back to the initial brush that we were using, which was the Morphe 456. We're just going to clean up the top part of that eyelid there. So here, just give it a couple of taps in there. Let's just make sure we're nice and blended up here. We just want a nice smooth inside and up on the brow bone. And also, when you're looking forward, you want to make sure that you can see that color peeking up above that lash line there. So this week, I actually did a pretty decent job of that. Yay! Okay, so we're going to add a little definition to the outside corner there. So I'm going to grab my Too Faced Killer Liner. This is in Killer Black. And we are going to, here, let me get it to where I can see. I hear chat stinging in. Okay, so the Killer Liner, let me give a little bit of a sharpen to that. That's the only thing I don't like about this. I wish they did this in a retractable instead of a sharpening. Okay, so outside corner. Right on that lash line, we're going to come in about halfway. Same thing on the other side. There you go. And we're going to come from the outside corner to about halfway on the bottom as well. We're going to stay really tight in that lash line. We don't want like a thick line. We just want a little bit of a liner to just kind of accentuate those outside corners. There you go. See, just kind of a nice thin line. Not too much, not too heavy, just a little bit. It'll almost become invisible once we get our mascara on. The point is not the line. The point is to just give some weight to those outside corners. All right. So we are going to wear false lashes today. So I'm going to grab my Too Faced Better Than Sex liner and figure out where. Oh, there it is. Okay, we're going to tap that. There we go. Too Faced Better Than Sex liner, and we are going to use this on from one edge to the other edge, very thin line, maybe a little extra weight to the outside corner. There you go. This is going to be a little bit of insurance for us as we put our false lashes on. There we go. While we are doing our brow, we're just going to let that dry. Okay, so once this liner dries, it is not going anywhere, but as with just about any liner, if it gets wet before it dries, then you could possibly end up with a little bit of bleed. So we're just going to help it along just a second because my eyes are actively watering. All right, so brow product, whatever brow product you have that you are going to be using, you're going to go ahead and grab that and do that now. If you need help with your brow shape or brow product, you don't know what to do, you're lost or whatever, go into Ulta, get your nearest brow bar to your Benefit brow bar, have them do a wax for you and shape that brow professionally, going with current trends, looks that you want, that kind of thing. And then tell them, bring pictures or whatever of the brow look you want, and they will help you actually get the right products to achieve the look that you want and then show you how to use them. So for me, I am using the Bad Gal Bang mascara, and this is in the shade Wild Plum. When you have fashion color hair, you got to do all kind of crazy things to be able to color in your brows. So this is what we got for right now. So I'm just going to touch those brows ever so slightly. And this will actually behave as my brow setter as well. So I won't need a separate brow setter gel. Just brushing those brows into the shape. I know I told you my brows were invisible. My eyelash hairs are about the same. When I'm looking like this, can you see eyelashes? No, because they're kind of clear. All right, here we go. Now we're going to use that. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're being very careful to only color the brow hairs. Sometimes I have to spin the little wand around so that you get fresh product on it. And then we're going to go just follow that down. There we go. And eyes are still watering, so we're just going to tap that a little bit. Okay, so now we have brows. Hello. We are going to add some mascara and then our lashes. So I am going to grab my Great Grip Onyx, or maybe it's Onyx Great Grip Lash Curler. Anyways, this right here from Tweezerman. And we're going to be using today the Bad Gal Bang mascara. I just love this mascara, whether it's on brows or it's on your lashes. It gives great volume. It does nice definition. It is a I prefer the water resistant formula because I think it does good enough job. Now, if you're going to go swimming, what are you wearing mascara for anyways? But I would choose the waterproof version of that, although this one performs very nicely. The only thing that's going to happen is after you've been swimming for an hour or something like that, it's just going to like gradually fade away and disappear, where the waterproof is going to hang tough and stay with you throughout the whole day. So you're calling what you're doing. If you're just going to a wedding or something like that, the original Bad Gal Bang, this one here is going to be totally fine. No smearing, no running, no flaking. Beautiful mascara. Okay, so we're going to use this here. And we're going to use part of our verse, because it's a very long one this week, to curl our lashes just a little bit before we get those false lashes on. So we're just going to chit chat for a second while we let that verse scroll around for us. Okay, I got a little wetness. We're going to do that there. Okay, here we go. The verse is coming around. So go ahead and get your sweet spot there where the lash curler is not curling on, pinching your eye. Here we go. Don't let anyone under pressure give in to evil say, God is trying to trip me up. God is impervious to evil and puts evil in no one's way. The temptation to give in to evil comes from us and only us. We have no one to blame but the leering, seducing flare-up of our own lust. Here, we'll just keep going. Lust gets pregnant and has a baby. Sin grows up to adulthood and becomes a real killer. James 1, 13-15. All right. Woo, that's going to be a good curl on that one. Here we go. Get the other side going before that verse goes away. There you go. Sweet spot. Here we go. Don't let anyone under pressure give in to evil and say, God is trying to trip me up. God is impervious to evil and puts evil in no one's way. The temptation to give in to evil comes from us and only us. We have no one to blame but the leering, seducing flare-up of our own lust. Lust gets pregnant and has a baby. Sin grows up to adulthood and becomes a real killer. And that is James 1, 13-15. All right, we got some good curl going on today. So let's go ahead and grab your magnifier or whatever you need to be able to do your mascara on the top. So we're going to start on the one side. We're just going to do one coat today because we are wearing the false lashes. So we just want our lashes to blend in beautifully with them. So if you have black lashes, you can probably skip this stuff altogether. You may need it though, just for your lashes to maintain that curl that you just put in, because the mascara will help that curl to hold. So with that into account, unless you have curled lashes and they're black, you may not need this. Okay, so there's one side. You can see just a little bit, and we did sweep back on those tips. So on the other side as well, making sure we catch those little inside hairs. Sweeping back on the tips. And then on the outside, make sure you're catching all those lashes. Okay. Now our bottom lashes aren't getting any kind of false lashes, so we do need to do the bottom lashes just like you normally would. So that's going to be a good single coat. So we're just going from root to tip here. Okay, there is a fuzz. Here we go. Woo. You know, nothing worse than trying to get something close to your eye because you do not want to pinch. There we go. Okay, back to what we were doing. We're sweeping up under those tips. And we are going from root to tip. Okay, and you can see how that liner that we put on earlier, it now becomes kind of invisible. It's still giving us a little bit of something to focus on the outside edge, but you're not really noticing, oh, look, there's liner there. Okay, so same thing on the other side. Again, we're going from root to tip. And we're brushing under the tips of those lashes. Okay, now while we were all close up and looking at everything, I did see a tad bit of fallout, so I'm going to grab a fluffy brush. We're just going to sweep that away. As long as it's a fluffy brush, you're going to kind of escort it out. If you use too dense of a brush, then what you're going to do is smear and blend it in, and then you're going to end up with, well, whatever color, in this case pink, you're going to end up with a swoosh of it as opposed to a fluffing it off. So this is why we use a fluffy brush for that. All right, so I'm going to be using the Juvia's Place. This is the Nubian Lash. This is the Egypt Light. This is a beautiful uneven, here we go, medium volume lash, and you'll see what a difference this is going to make. These are already trimmed. Do a dry fit, take that lash, set it there. If you have to trim it, as most people do, you're going to trim that from the outside corner of the lash. So I'm going to grab my velour eyelash tool. You know what? I think we should say our verse together. Okay, just because I feel like we should. So I really should have timed this better with the verse scrolling around on the bottom, but nonetheless, here we go. It is rolling around right now. You should be able to see it. So say it loud and proud with me. You ready? Don't let anyone under pressure give into evil and say, God is trying to trip me up. God is impervious to evil and puts evil in no one's way. The temptation to give in to evil comes from us and only us. We have no one else to blame but the leering, seducing flare up of our own lust. Lust gets pregnant and has a baby. Sin. Sin grows up to adulthood and becomes a real killer. James 1, 13 to 15. Okay, so we're going to take that lash tool and we're going to grab that lash from the outside edge. We're just going to set that in front of us. We're going to grab that other one from the outside edge, and we're just going to take that and set that in front of us. And then we are going to grab our lash adhesive. For me, I have found the best to be the Allure. This is the 18-hour lash glue. Love this. So we're just going to grab that lash right there in the center, in the middle. We're going to take that adhesive and we're going to put it on the top of that band right there. And then we're going to do that again, and we're going to catch the inside of that band. And we're just going to give a nice even coating of that. We are paying special attention to those outside corners because they are the first things that are going to try to lift on you. And actually, it looks like I have missed just a teeny bit right here. There we go. You'll notice when you first put that adhesive on, this one is going to be white to start with, but have no fear. After it sets for a couple of seconds, it is going to turn clear, and then you won't even see it at all. This one is a latex-free adhesive, so that if that is a concern for you, if you're like me, and every time you wear lashes, you get some itch, it is probably a latex allergy. So make sure that your lashes and your adhesive is latex-free, and that will minimize some of the concerns that you have with the lashes. Okay, so we're going to set that down in front of us. We're going to let those set for just a second. Once the adhesive starts to turn a little bit clear, you're still going to see white, but it's getting a little bit clear. You will know that your lashes are ready to be applied. It takes like maybe 20 to 30 seconds at best. So we're going to grab that first lash that we had, and we're going to make sure that here, I'm just going to give it, these are fairly new, so I'm just going to make sure I got enough curl in there, and then I'm going to grab it in the center, and then it's going to go right there in the center on that eyeliner line. There we go. And then we're going to take that inside corner and set that down on that eyeliner line. We're going to take the outside corner, set it on that eyeliner line. And I'm just going to make sure these are all in the same space. So I'm just taking it, pinching it. I'm going to take the tip. I'm going to work my lashes into it, make sure everybody's like nice and happy in their happy space. We're going to double check the inside corner. And voila! You have a beautiful medium volume lash. I just really love these. This one and the, what's the other one called? Oh man, I feel like I'm cheating on the other lash. Anyways. Two favorites from them. This is definitely one of them. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take this. We're going to curl it just a little bit. Make sure we got a good shape to it. Soften it up. Grab the center of this right here, right below the lash band. We're going to put it right here in the center. Right on that eyeliner line. Right on the eyeliner line on the inside. Eyeliner line on the outside. Looks like that inside one tried to come up a little bit. Let's go ahead and tell it. Nope, nope, nope. We need you to be down on there. There you go. I'm going to make sure everything is even here. There you go. Taking that tip, working that in. Nice. Whoop, whoop. All right. Now I got a little bit of eye watering going on over here just because, you know, that's what's happening right now these days. Okay, so you can see we've got that shimmer. We've got that little bit of shape. We've got that nice pink. Those medium lashes are really bringing down the volume of that pink. Our lips are going nicely with it. We got some beautiful contour going on. So what do we have left now? We have our verse, and then we are going to set this bad boy. Okay, so bad boy, bad girl. Okay, so don't let anyone under pressure give into sin, give into evil and say, God is trying to trip me up. God is impervious to evil and puts evil in no one's way. The temptation to give in to evil comes from us and only us. We have no one to blame but the leering, seducing flare up of our own lust. Lust gets pregnant and has a baby. Sin. Sin grows up to adulthood and becomes a real killer. James 1:13-15. All right, I'm just going to press in, make sure these are still nice and happy and staying put where they should be. We're going to grab our Juvia's Place. This is the Ready, Set, Sealed. Give it a little bit of a shake. Give it a set. Fan that down a little. Oh, that's so lovely. I wish you would hold its smell. I would use that like a perfume. All right. So thank you so much for hanging with me this week. It has been a delight to be with you this morning. Let's go ahead and we're going to review our verses together, although I think they're in the wrong order at this particular moment. What do we got going on here? All right. Here we go. Yes, they are on the wrong one. So let's go here. There we go. Okay, so James 1:1. Well, actually, let's say the verse first. I, James, am a slave of God and the Master Jesus, writing to the 12 tribes scattered to kingdom come. Hello. All right. Oh my gosh, what is the first word? Hold on. First word cheat. Okay, consider it a sheer gift, friends, when challenges come at you from all sides. Let's see. Tests and challenges come from you from all sides. You know that under pressure, your faith life shows its true colors. Faith life is forced into the open and shows its true colors. So don't try to get out of anything prematurely. Let it do its work, that you may become mature, completely developed, you may become mature, well developed, and not deficient in any way. James 1:2-4. Okay, let me flip to the next one. There we go. Okay. If you don't know what you're doing, pray to the Father. He loves to help. You'll get his help and you won't be condescended to when asking for it. Ask boldly, believingly, without a second thought. People who worry their prayers are like wind-whipped waves. Don't think you're going to get anything from the Master that way. Adrift at sea, keeping all your options open. And that's James 1:5-8. And then the week before that, we had, and I love the song to this one, when the down and outers get a break, cheer. And when the arrogant and rich are cut down to size, cheer. Prosperity is as short-lived as a wildflower, so don't ever count on it. You know that as soon as the sun rises and pours down its scorching heat, the flower withers, its petals wilt, and before you know it, that beautiful face is a barren stem. Well, that's a picture of the prosperous life. At the very moment that everyone is looking on in admiration, it fades away to nothing. And that was an extra sound effect. I always thought boys had the best sound effects when I was a kid. Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, so sorry. Anyone who meets a testing challenge head on is mighty, and sticks with it is mighty fortunate. For such persons in love with God, the reward is life and more life. And that is, what is that one? James. Now I'm having trouble memorizing the scripture. It was life and more life. That one's the 5th week, and that was James 6. Oh, it doesn't actually have the reference on here. Okay, well, that's what 12. That's James 12. There we go. James 1:12. Okay, and then the verse that we're working on this week. Don't let anyone give in to evil and say, God is trying to trip me up. God is impervious to evil and puts evil in no one's way. The temptation to give in to evil comes from us and only us. We have no one to blame but the leering, seducing flare-up of our own lust. Lust gets pregnant and gives birth to sin. Sin grows up to adulthood and becomes a real killer. Okay, James 1:13-15. Okay, yes, you can see we are working on this together. This is truth. This is truth. So I hope that you are continuing to work on these verses because they are magnificent. I just love the application of working through the book of James. So I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. Even if you're struggling to memorize as much as you can tell that I am as well. We're in this together, girls. All right. So don't forget to pick up your copy of Color Me James so that you can take advantage of all the different learning modalities that are in there. Oh, I didn't even mention the daily adventure. So those are in there as well. So it gives you a little activity every day to do with your verse. So again, that comes in ebook, that comes in a spiral bound, and that comes in a perfect bound as well. All right, so you can find a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus on your favorite podcast platform, especially on YouTube, where we have the Beauty and Grace Insider. We've got Divine Beauty, Precious Jewel, and Cherished Queen. So if you're on YouTube right now and you're seeing those little special icons go through that you don't have access to, that is something that comes with the Beauty and Grace Insider. So you just curious, I think my favorite one is the Glam Girl. And the heart. I like the heart one too. So we do have some extra ones. The more Beauty and Grace Insiders we have, the more cute little icons YouTube allows us to have. So do that today. Don't forget when you join that to get on that email list that comes with that as well, because that's going to have your week kickoff email with all the different activities and all that. And each one of those comes with perks. If you go to YouTube, a little bit of makeup, let's see, little makeup, lot of Jesus, and then join, and then you'll find that there. All right. So let me send you out with a blessing this week. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Heavenly Father, I just thank you so much for each one of these ladies that has come and hung out with me here today. I pray a special blessing on them as they go throughout this week, that you would help us to be diligent this week to memorize our verses, that you would be with me as I prepare the song, that you would lead, God, and direct me, that I would yield myself to the Holy Spirit for the lyrics and the words and the music that all go with that. Father, I just thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this and using me as a tool. I pray that you would be with us as we throughout the week work on beauty on the outside, but remember, it is beauty on the outside that counts the most. And I just thank you for each one of these ladies, whether they are here hanging out with me live or they are catching this later on in a recorded version. Father, just bless them, I pray. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, again, it has been a joy to hang out with you. I look forward to seeing you throughout the week on social media. So until then, mwah, love you.